incontinence. Urinary incontinence is the involuntary leakage of urine. So normally when the bladder fills up, the sphincter tone, urethral sphincter tone will increase and there will be no change in the detrusor pressure and vesical pressure and intra-abdominal pressure. And when during micturition, the intra-abdominal pressure increases, the detrusor muscle contracts and detrusor pressure increase and vesical pressure increase, and there will be relaxation of sphincter, urethral sphincter, and micturition occurs. So any problem in this cycle causes urinary incontinence. There are 4 types of urinary incontinence: stress incontinence, overflow incontinence, urge incontinence, and continual incontinence. So first about the stress incontinence. So it is mainly because of the poor pelvic floor support and a weak urethral sphincter. So that causes the passive bladder pressure to be more than the urethral pressure, and that causes the urinary incontinence. It is mostly seen in ladies, mostly after childbirth, and it is rare in males but can occur after prostate surgery. And in this stress incontinence, the incontinence occur on coughing, sneezing and exertion. Next about the urge incontinence. That is, in this the detrusor muscle will be overactive, and that causes the bladder pressure to be more than the urethral sphincter pressure. And the hypersensitivity of bladder can occur in urinary tract infection and bladder stone, and it also can occur as idiopathic and also due to some neurological causes like spina bifida, multiple sclerosis. The next, continual incontinence. There will be continuous dribbling of urine. So it occurs in vesicovaginal fistula, that is a fistula between bladder and vagina, or uretrovaginal fistula, fistula between ureter and vagina. And this usually occurs as complications of gynecological surgery, gynecological malignancy, or post-radiotherapy, or in prolonged obstructed labor. And it can occur in infants who are having congenital ectopic ureters. And in case of severe stress incontinence, that can cause continual incontinence. Next, overflow incontinence. That is, bladder will be chronically distended, and mostly because of the bladder neck obstruction, as in case of BPH, and that also in case of failure of detrusor muscle contraction, that is called atonic bladder. So that can occur either as idiopathic or due to damage to pelvic nerves. And damage to pelvic nerves can occur either because of surgery like hysterectomy or rectal excision, or because of trauma or infection. Also in compression of cauda equina syndrome, compression of cauda equina by disc prolapse to trauma or tumor. So about the clinical assessment, we should ask them to maintain a voiding diary, and they should record the volume voided and frequency of voiding, incontinence pad usage, and precipitating factors and associated factors like urgency. And we can also have structured questionnaires to know the severity of incontinence. Then neurological assessment to rule out any neurological cause, and lumbar spine assessment to rule out like spina bifida and all. And we should also check the perineal sensation, anal sphincter tone, rectal examination, genital examination. And investigation, for all patients we should do urine routine and urine culture, and to rule out the UTI. Then USG should be done to assess the postvoidal residual urine, and PVR more than 100 ml is significant. And urodynamic study and urine flow rates should be assessed. And CT abdomen, CT urography, and cystoscopy if we are suspecting fistula, and MRI if we are suspecting urethral diverticulum. Then management, weight reduction in case of obese patients. Then physiotherapy like pelvic floor exercises useful in stress urinary incontinence, And bladder retraining is useful in urge incontinence. Bladder retraining means ask them to hold more urine voluntarily and along with the anticholinergic medication. So they can hold more urine voluntarily. Then surgery in case of stress urinary incontinence, fistula and all. Then overflow incontinence by bladder obstruction. That can in that case catheterization can be done, either intermittent self catheterization or continuous catheterization. Then anticholinergic drugs or antispasmodic drugs are given for urinary incontinence, and they are solifenacin, propanthelin, oxybutynin, tolterodine, imipramine.